Welcome back to TrashmanMMA. It's yours truly, the Trash Man, and we're going over Bonfim versus Brown, man. I'm personally super hyped for this card. I'm probably one of the biggest Randy Brown fans you'll ever meet, bro. I'm super hyped for the dude. Bonfim, I don't give a fuck about either, brother, if I'm being honest with you. But we're going to go over the full card. I'm going to give my prediction and breakdowns on each fight, starting with the first fight of the night, which is surprisingly Jackson McVeigh versus Robert Valentine. Now, when I heard the name McVeigh, I thought, what the fuck is the fucking Rams head coach doing over here, bro? I was a little twisty, but Jackson McVeigh versus Robert Valentine. Both are winless in the UFC, so I guess I can understand why this fight is the first fight on the card. But I don't know. I feel like guys deserve a little bit more hype than this. But either way, Jackson McVeigh, he lost his debut in the UFC to Bruno Ferreira by first round armbar. Robert Valentine, I'm not too sure how he lost his first fight, but he lost it to Ryan Loder by submission in one of the rounds. Then he got absolutely dominated by Terrence McKinney for 3 rounds straight. It wasn't a fucking title fight or a main event, thank God. But he got dominated for 15 minutes in the grappling aspect. Although I did think he did do enough damage on the feet and from bottom position to win the fight, but he did not get awarded the win. And then he also just got knocked out by Ataba Gautier in the first round, like fucking not even a minute into the fight. Overall, I wouldn't blame anybody picking Robert Valentine because he is dangerous. You know, he is dangerous. He showed to be dangerous against Terrence McKinney, but not McKinney, whatever that kid's name is. But I don't know, just getting knocked out in the first round. Jackson McVeigh is like a jiu-jitsu guy in his own right, though. So to get subbed by Bruno Ferreira, it honestly isn't the worst because Bruno Ferreira has shown to have some sort of ground game. He also subbed Armen Petrosian by an armbar, but he also got finished by Abus Magomedov, which isn't the best look. He got finished in the first round by Nursultan Ruziboyev, which isn't the best look. And since then, the guys that he beats are kind of like bottom feeders a little bit. His best win, I would say, is Gregory Rodriguez. I don't know why I'm diving deep into the list that Bruno Ferreira wins. I'm going Jackson McVeigh. If you're 0-3 in the UFC, bro, I can't trust you to win a damn fight, especially if your competition is freaking especially if your competition is Torres Finney. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going Jackson McVeigh by second round finish, submission. On to the next fight, Miles Johns versus Daniel Marcos. Now, this one's a little bit interesting because both of these guys love themselves a freaking split decision. They love them. Miles Johns took both Gene Matsumoto and Felipe Lima to split decision, while Daniel Marcos, he Adrian Yanez. Nah, brother. We ain't doing that, brother. Nah, brother. But Johns is all not Johns. Daniel Marcos is also taking this fight on short notice. I think he's filling in for Muin Gafarov, maybe Muin Gafarov, I believe. So I'm just not gonna trust the kid. He also lost extremely clearly to what's the kid's name? What's the kid that just fought Davison Figueiredo? He fought that guy, Montel Jackson. He lost extremely clearly to Montel Jackson. And then just for Montel Jackson to go out there and just have that absolutely embarrassing performance against whatever the fucking guy's just name was. I literally just said it. But I'm going Miles Johns. I think obviously he's not taking this fight on short notice. The opponents that he's taken to split decision are better than Adrian Yanez. So I'm going Miles Johns by 30-27. Pretty clear. On to the next. Tisha Pennington versus Denise Gomez. I'm going for the girl that's not 36. I'm going for the girl that's 25 and a very clear lesbian. Denise Gomez, she's also pretty good. I think she did lose to oh my gosh, I'm forgetting every single buddy's name, dude. Who's that? Angela Hill. I believe she lost to Angela Hill. But since then, she's rattled off 3 wins, all pretty impressive. Split decision win over Eduardo Mora. I kind of rate that. So yeah, I'm going Denise Gomez. Tisha Pennington, I'm gonna say that she's past her prime by far, but she's on a nice little 2-fight win streak. But one of those people is Carla Esparza. Yeah, nah, bro. We're not doing that. Going Denise Gomez. On to the next. Josh Hawkins versus Max Gimenez. Max Gimenez is apparently just like a fucking jiu-jitsu grappling nerd. He has an extensive jiu-jitsu or grappling background. Josh Hawkins, he's got some personality. He just got a pretty crazy KO win in his Contender Series debut. He's the guy that's kind of acting like fucking hell. Keep on burping like a fucking WWE wrestler. Uh, Josh Hawkins, I think he's got pop in his hands. He's good enough to KO a blob, which is what Max is. On to the next. Mayra Bueno Silva versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I'm going Jacqueline Cavalcanti. She's longer, taller, and Mayra Bueno Silva's on a 3-fight loss streak, so I'm not going to go for her. Adrian Yanez versus Christian Quinones. I'm like 90% sure this fight got canceled. Yeah, Christian Quinones pulled out. But I would probably go Adrian Yanez on this one if it did take place. Yeah, I think Adrian Yanez is not the best, but he's also not the worst to lose to Christian Quinones. He's only lost to Daniel Marcos by split, Jonathan Martinez, who's pretty good, and Rob Font, who's still ranked and hanging it in there. So I would go for Adrian Yanez if this fight took place still. On to the next, Haider Emil versus Jamal Emmers. I'm surprised on the way this fight is laid out because Haider Emil is actually taking this fight on short notice. He's replacing Ashton Bashi, who pulled out of this fight against Jamal Emmers. And, I'm going Jamal Emmers. Now, Haider Emil is coming off of a brutal knockout loss to, I forgot the kid's name, if I'm being frank. But he's coming off a brutal KO loss in July. He's taking this fight on short notice. Jamal Emmers has crazy pop. He was able to hurt Nate Landwehr really badly. And now while his other wins over like Gabriel Miranda and Dennis Brazuca, whatever his name is, those wins are not impressive to me at all. But to hurt a guy like Nate Landwehr and almost get him out of there in the first round, now he did lose that fight. He got fucking clipped, put down, and just kind of like hammer fisted till he went out. But he has a split decision with Jack Jenkins as well, Jamal Emmers. Haider Emil, he's good, but I just can't get over the fact that he's coming off of a first round knockout loss within like 30 seconds. Jose Delgado is the kid's name that he lost to. Now, granted, he does have a split decision with William Gomez, which is pretty good, but short notice, I just really don't like that. Short notice, and you're cutting to featherweight. If this fight was like a lightweight catchweight bout, maybe I could feel better about going for Haider Emil. But I mean, that tough weight cut, I mean, I'm gonna go Jamal Emmers with this one. I think he can pop from range a lot easier. He's a little bit taller. He's a little bit more rangy. Jamal Emmers seems like one of the guys that can maybe fight behind his range. If I'm remembering correctly, he was doing it quite decently against Nate Landwehr until he got too cocky after hurting him, then leading him to getting finished. But I'm going to go Jamal Emmers just by preparation. Now, on to the main card. Christian Leroy Duncan versus Marco Tulio. I'm going Marco Tulio for this fight. Although CLD does have a crazy reach advantage over him, Marco Tulio's tool bag is way too deep, man, for CLD. CLD, he's good, he's dynamic, and he has a lot of good wins in his own right. But Marco Tulio has a win over Yusri Bulgaria, who we just saw completely outclass Azamat Bekoev. Hold on, I'm going to burp right now. Now, that's an insanely well-aging win. Now, if Yusri Bulgaria went off to have a fairly unimpressive, streak of fights, which he kind of did. I mean, he got beat by Yusri Bulgaria, and then he had an extremely lackluster performance against some Asian dude. But Marco Tulio knows how to get through adversity as well. In his last fight against Tresean Gore, he was nearly put out on his feet in the first round, which I dumbingly and begrudgingly picked Tresean Gore to win that fight, so I was extremely mad when he fumbled it. But Marco Tulio, his shots to the body, I feel like sometimes he does do a lot of spinning shit, which is kind of a waste of energy. But Christian Leroy Duncan, he got the beats put on him badly by Gregory Rodriguez. And I feel like he has a lot of scar tissue left on his face after that. He was cut up badly. He does have a win over Eric Anders, which is pretty good. Andre Puliev, again, pretty good. But he has a unanimous decision loss to Armen Petrosyan. Now, I'm not saying Armen Petrosyan is bad by any means, but I just think if you're losing to Andre Petrosyan, I think Marco Tulio is just kind of a different fighter at middleweight. He's one of the highly sought after prospects in the UFC in the middleweight division. So I just got to go with the hype train of Marco Tulio. He's looking like a wrecking ball out there. And Christian Leroy Duncan, I can't trust his finishing instinct like I could Marco Tulio. So I'm going Marco Tulio by probably third round KO. On to the next, Ricky Simone versus Ronnie Barcelos. I'm going Ricky Simone, even though on paper his wins aren't as impressive as Ronnie Barcelos. I just feel like the matchup between the two favors Ricky Simone a little bit more. Ronnie Barcelos obviously has a great 3P win streak over Cody Garbrandt, Peyton Talbot, and some other fucking dude. Ricky Simone not coming off the craziest of wins, right? Cameron Smotherman, which everybody, I believe he got cut. Cameron Smotherman lost, was like 1-2, 1-3 in the UFC, right? But we obviously all seen him get that vicious first round KO over Javid Basharat, one of the craziest KOs of all time. Just maybe not the craziest, but just honestly, it was a fucking brutal knockout. He dropped a few, but you know, the ones that he's dropping it to are Vinicius Oliveira, Mario Batista, Song Yadong. I mean, these are just the caliber of fighters that I don't think Ronnie Barcelos really belongs to. I think Ronnie Barcelos is around that Javid Basharat, Cameron Smotherman level. I think I don't think Ronnie Barcelos can really out wrestle Ricky Simone. Ricky Simone is a small, stocky brute. And if you just look at the builds, Ronnie Barcelos is a lot skinnier and lankier for just the overall similar like build. Ricky Simone's built like a fucking Mack truck. I'm going Ricky Simone 30-27 or 29-28. On to the next. Chris Padilla versus Ishmael Bonfim. This one's a little tough, but not really. I believe Ishmael Bonfim is the favorite. I'm going to take the underdog of Chris Padilla on this one. I think Chris Padilla can get it done, you know. I just don't really rate Ishmael Bonfim all too much. His only 2 wins in the UFC are Terrence McKinney and Vince Pichel. Like, come on, brother. Come on, brother. I can't rate you for that. Now, his 2 losses are great losses. Nazim Sadikov, killer. Benoit Saint-Denis, killer, right? These are all good names. And Chris Padilla hasn't been looking too good. He went to a split decision with Jai Herbert, but I don't know. Every time I think about Chris Padilla, I always think about that brutal fucking stoppage against Rong Zhu that he got him with those elbows. I can't. I don't know how well I can trust in the like. I can't. I don't know how much I can trust Ishmael Bonfim to not get finished. I don't trust his, you know, not necessarily his defense, but I don't trust his armor. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust him to be strong enough to like take body shots or something like that. You know, I think Chris Padilla will be a lot more resilient in this fight. He's kind of built like it. I just don't. I've seen Ishmael Bonfim lose too much, and Chris Padilla, he wins. Granted, his comp is pretty shit. James Long, Top Rongju, and Jai Herbert, but I believe he has some good wins on the regional scene over some guys, if I'm not mistaken, unless it's somebody else that I'm trying to think of. It might be, but Chris Padilla, I trust him just a little bit more, you know, regardless of the amount of losses that he has, even though they both have similar level of losses. I'm going Chris Padilla by 29-28. On to the next. Muslim Salikov versus Uros Medic. Hold on, let me check if this is true. I cannot believe Muslim Salikov is an underdog going into this fight. I simply cannot believe it. I don't understand. I really, I really don't understand how that's even possible. If you, I'm not. Hey, this is a joke. This is a troll. But if you can straight bet in your state, in your country, bet the house on Muslim Salikov. Bet the house. Muslim Salikov got knocked out by Randy Brown and since then has gone on a 3-fight win streak. Again, split decision with Santiago Ponzinibbio, not the best, but a wheel kick KO versus Kinong Song and a fucking vicious right hook within a minute against Carlos Leal, who is roided to the gills like always. Carlos Leal was seen as the truth in the welterweight division. Now, I picked Muslim Salikov to knock him out, which he did. Uros Medic has gotten dropped in every single one of his fucking fights within the first 10 seconds. He's talked about it, and I'm glad that he's addressing it, but just because you address it doesn't mean that you're going to fix the problem. It happened in the Puliano-Soriano fight. He dropped Soriano, I believe, and then Soriano came back, KO'd him. And it happened again against Gilbert Urbina. He hurts Gilbert Urbina, then Urbina hurts Medic, and then back goes the other way, or it went or it was reversed. But either way, Medic always gets dropped within the first minute of his fights. I can't trust a guy with the chin that weak. Muslim Salikov, I mean, a 1 KO loss against Randy Brown. Come on, man. He's only been knocked out twice in his career. With Li Jing Liang and Randy Brown. Come on, dude. Those guys are leagues better than Uros Magic. I'm going Muslim Salikov first round KO within the first minute. On to the next. Matt Schnell versus Joseph Morales. Now, I can't believe Matt Schnell isn't ranked anymore. And also, I thought Matt Schnell got cut. Or is it some other guy that got cut? But either way, Joseph Morales coming fresh off tough. Then he fought some foreigner. Idris Alba, whatever the fuck his name was. And Matt Schnell just, hey, he's got a chinny chin, man. If Joseph Morales, if I remember correctly, Joseph Morales was putting the beats on Idris Alba during that fight. I believe he finished him as well, but I believe he was like just kind of putting a grappling clinic while dropping bombs on Idris Alba. Matt Schnell can't take shots anymore. I don't know how well he can scramble. I believe he got a win since one of his recent losses. But I view Matt Schnell the same way I view Cody Durden, which is just kind of a washed up vet. And that's how I see him. I believe he's 1-5, 1-4 in his last 5. I'm going Joseph Morales, the younger guy. He's only been put away, I believe, once really long ago, back in the day by Davison Figueiredo. That's his only loss, or one of his only losses to Davison Figueiredo like 10 years ago. Come on, dude. He's a different beast now. I think he's going to be levels above Matt Schnell. I'm going Joseph Morales. On to the main event. Gabriel Bonfim versus Randy Brown. Now, this one's tough, man. Alright, Randy Brown. Alright, bro. Chill out, twin. Gabriel Bonfim versus Randy Brown. Now, this one's tough. I'm a big fan of Randy Brown. I hate Gabriel Bonfim for robbing my boy Wonder Boy. And look, I'm going Randy Brown. I'm riding it to the top, man. I believe Randy Brown deserves a ranking. I believe he deserved a ranking after getting that brutal finish over Nicholas Dalby. This kid is like 9-1 in his last 10 fights, all right? The only fights that he's lost on paper were robberies to fucking, what's that fat ass's name that just got cut and that was knocking out bums in dirty boxing? What's his name? What's his damn name? Brian Battle. He lost a split decision to Brian Battle, which he did not lose, but knocked out Nicholas Dalby, unanimous decision to Zaleski, knocked out Muslim Salikov. Come on, man. His last real loss is against Jack Della Maddalena. And that loss, it does say a lot, as much as I don't want to admit. Being one of 2 submission wins for Jack Della Maddalena, what I'm trying to say is getting subbed by a boxer is kind of embarrassing. And if you're going up against a next level grappler, a guy like Gabriel Bonfim, I think you're going to have a little bit of trouble. But I trust in Randy Brown's grappling defense enough. I feel like he can do similar work to Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy got held up on the ground for quite a bit of that fight, but I believe Randy Brown will be able to do more damage on the feet than Wonder Boy did. Wonder Boy doesn't really inflict damage all too much, so I believe a guy like Randy Brown that really has pop in his hands and isn't a karate guy, because at the end of the day, he's not a karate guy. He has more pop in his shots. I just can't see a world where Gabriel Bonfim is able to grapple Randy Brown for 5 minutes straight. Maybe Gabriel Bonfim is truly just the next level grappler and he's able to sub Randy Brown within the first 3 rounds. Now, if Gabriel Bonfim wins, I do see that that's how he wins. But if it gets into the 4th and 5th, I think Randy Brown can put him away or just a win a clear decision. But I'm really picking Randy Brown to KO Bonfim within the 2nd or 3rd. I believe Bonfim can control at least 1 or 2 rounds on Randy, but I think Randy can do a great job from bottom position. I think Gabriel Bonfim is going to be a little bit too stalematey on the ground. Now, he did obviously have that impressive win over, what was his name? The guy that he turned into Golden Freddy, Chaos Williams. He turned Chaos Williams into Golden Freddy. And now maybe Randy Brown's grappling isn't better than Chaos Williams, which isn't something that I'm willing to, disagree with, per se. But I also think Randy Brown is a lot more dangerous than anybody Gabriel Bonfim has faced on the feet, and I will say that with absolute confidence. Wonder Boy, not really dangerous on the feet. Angelusa took him to a unanimous decision. You're taking Angelusa to a unanimous decision? Come on, twin. Randy Brown fucking murks Angelusa. Chaos Williams, whatever. Nicholas Dalby, he lost to Nicholas Dalby. Nicholas Dalby got smoked by Randy Brown. I forgot that Gabriel Bonfim got fucking knocked out by Nicholas Dalby. Now, obviously, that's MMA math, and I'm not going to go too far to say that just because he lost to Nicholas Dalby and Randy Brown beat Nicholas Dalby, that and vice versa means Randy Brown's going to knock out Gabriel Bonfim, except that's exactly what I'm going to fucking say. I'm going to say Randy Brown knocks out Gabriel Bonfim within the 2nd or 3rd round, maybe 4th, but I think the better gas tank will be shown to be Randy Brown. I think Randy Brown is on a crazy streak right now. He's really proven. He's 10 times more proven than Gabriel Bonfim, even though he doesn't have a ranking. I'm going Randy Brown by 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round KO. Now, those were all my picks for UFC Fight Night Bonfim versus Brown. If that's all you were here for, that's where this video will end. But I'm going to do a quick little recap for Garcia versus Onama. So if you don't want to stick around for this, go ahead, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're new. Let me know what you thought about the video. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna have some more videos coming out within this week, maybe some tier list. We'll see what happens. Let me know what y'all want to see in the comments. But we're gonna go do a little recap of Garcia versus Onama. Great win for Steve Garcia. Fucking phenomenal. 1st round KO versus David Onama. It looked like David Onama was just a lamb being sent out to slaughter, honestly. If this was one of the fights that... if David Onama threw this fight on purpose and is under investigation like fucking Isaac Dolgarian, which we'll get into later, I wouldn't be surprised. David Onama looked like he was just getting bullied out there. I mean, the punches of Steve Garcia were kind of flinging David Onama off of his feet, pushing him all over the fence, all over the cage. It looked like he didn't know how to get his feet underneath him. Steve Garcia just hits like a Mack truck, man. Won 6 out of his previous 7 fights by knockout. That is a crazy statistic. Or 5 out of his last 6 fights by knockout, which is a crazy statistic. Garcia hits hard, and David Onama could not survive long enough to get anything meaningful going. As you saw, he landed 2 strikes, and that was it. Steve Garcia puts him out with the right hand. I believe it wasn't necessarily a premature stoppage, but I mean, you could have seen it go on for a little bit longer, but I don't think anything would have changed if I'm being frank. But good performance by Steve Garcia. On to the next. The co-main event, Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Ante Delija. Obviously, we all know what happens. Waldo Acosta gets eye-poked by Ante Delija. drags it a bit. He definitely does drag it, but he gets the upset win by coming back after his 5 minutes, getting a KO win over Ante DeLiha. I think I don't think any of this should have happened. I think after the eye poke, it should have been ruled a no contest. I think both fighters should have just not that both fighters should have went home, but I don't. I didn't agree with the whole charade that went on. Like, Mark Smith coming in, calling off the fight just to reinstate it. Now, obviously, I think we can do a lot more of those, but just in different scenarios. I don't believe that. I don't believe in this situation, Waldo Cortez Acosta should have been given the opportunity to go back into the fight. I think there was no clock indicated, and maybe it was only 5 minutes between the time the fight got stopped and between the time the fight got reinstated. But you've seen Anta Deliha go celebrating, jumping up fences, just to have that huge adrenaline dump. I think this fight should be a no contest. But good job for Waldo Cortez Acosta. One of my reverse countrymen, so I gotta support him. But sad to see for Ante DeLiha and the fucking Tom Aspinall, gym. Fucking Tom Aspinall is in a wrecking ball right now, or he's in a world of hurt. Jeremiah Wells over Themba Gorimbo. Jeremiah gets it done. Who's seen it coming? Isaac Dolgarian versus Yadir Devale. Now we obviously all seen the betting lines for Isaac Dolgarian plummet like 30 minutes before his fight. Now he's getting investigated by the UFC and investigated by the FBI. We've learned that sports betting companies have fucking alerted the UFC of hundreds of other fights that have been flagged for suspicious activity. Isaac Dolgarian being one of them, or one of the more high-profile ones at least. And he got cut from the UFC. His pay is being withheld. He went 2-2 in the UFC. Yadir Duvall, way to capitalize on the situation, but it's all going to be also be a little stain. It's going to be a little bit of there's a lot of fishy stuff going on with this fight, so can't really blame Yadir Duvall for anything. He did what he was supposed to do, got the first round submission, looked impressive as it was. Isaac Dolgarian, man, what a odd dude, what a odd situation and predicament to be caught up in. And he was also a fighter of James Krause, which so was David Onama, by the way, former student. Anyways, on to the next. Charles Radke gets it done. Third round submission over Daniel Frenza. Daniel Frenza had some heart, man. If Daniel Frenza was anything like a Cedric Dumas, he would have tapped within 3 seconds before the choke was even locked in. Charles Radke had him in so many compromising positions within the first, second, and then the third in the finishing sequence. Charles Radke kind of just had a grappling dominant performance over Daniel Frenza. Should have seen it coming, man. I don't know why I didn't, but Charles Radke got it done. Allison Nascimento versus Cody Durden. Cody Durden looked like he was doing great for being on short notice. He was really putting the work on Allison Nascimento. He hurt him a few times. I don't know if he knocked him down, but he had a really, really impressive performance for showing up on like a week notice. So all respects to Cody Durden, but this was a terrible fight to take. He's 1-5 in his last 6. It's a sad time to be Cody Durden right now. He might get cut. But good performance for Alisson Nascimento to get through the mud. Billy Alicana versus Kevin Christian. Tall guys don't know how to fight behind their reach. It's as simple as they even though they'll have like a 6-inch reach advantage, they're still gonna reach into their shots. They're still gonna put themselves out of position, in prime position for counters, like Billy Alicana did. I believe he hit him with the right. And then I don't know what he hit him with after. I think he hit him with a right hand or a left hook. Sent Kevin Christian flat on his back. Billy Alicana then immediately jumped on him. They had a little scrambling moment. Kevin Christian then ends up on his face, just like face planted on the floor. Billy Alicana with that tight rear naked choke with Kevin Christian's arms trapped in the grip of Billy Alicana's legs, I guess. So Kevin Christian couldn't tap. He tried to tap, but the ref missed it and gets forced to just be out cold and made a fool on TV. And then in the fucking post fight, when they're raising their hands, man, you see Kevin Christian's face so beaten up, and it's actually surprising because you've seen the left hook, he doesn't have that much damage on his face. During the rear naked choke, he doesn't have that much damage on his face, or at least from what we could see. All that damage came from in between the knockdown and in between the submission, when Billy Elicana just lands like 3-4 tippy tap strikes on Kevin Christian's face that built that huge welt, literally purple all over Christian's right side of the face. So Billy Elicana got some bricks in his hands, that's for damn sure. Billy Elicana with a great performance. Timmy Kwamba over Chang Ho Lee, got it done. Dante Johnson over Cedric Dumas, got it done. Cedric Dumas just pulling guard and going for takedowns, and he gets just like ninja choked by Dante Johnson. He doesn't even fight the hands. He doesn't do anything. It's really embarrassing for Cedric Dumas to have a coach with brain cancer who's taking his time out of his day, out of his life to train Cedric Dumas, and Dumas is just throwing it all away, taking advantage of somebody else's kindness to watch him fight and lose. It's embarrassing how Cedric Dumas. It's embarrassing what Cedric Dumas is doing. You have a coach with brain cancer, and these are the performances that you're putting out. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. Caitlin Vieira versus Norma Dumont. Norma got it done over split. Alice Ardelene versus Ruiz. Ruiz got knocked out 3 times in a row. I'm surprised Alice Ardelene wasn't able to put her away. Phil Rowe versus Young Hong Ko. I mean, Young Hong Ko did what he did against fucking the Welsh dude, the Welsh gangster. I forgot his name. Oban Elliott. He did the same thing to Phil Rowe. Talita Alan Carr got it done over Ariana Carnelossi. Carnelossi just seemed like she didn't have the gas tank and technique to really put away Talita Alan Carr, even though she seemed to be slowing down. Overall, I believe I went 6-7 or 6-7 on this card. Didn't do too well, but I'm looking forward to going like 12-0 on this Bonfim versus Brown card. I'm super hyped for this card. I think it's 10 times better than the card previous that we just went over. I don't want to hear any fucking disrespect on this Bonfim versus Brown card, okay? 12-0, here we come. Randy Brown gonna finally be ranked. Let's fucking go, my boy. That's the video, guys. If you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're new here, and if you fucked with the video. My name is TrashmanMMA. Follow my Instagram, follow my Twitter. We post on there quite frequently, and if you want to see what my face looks like, I post stories on there from time to time. So come check it out, man. We have a good time over here. Peace.